Hey guys, we're back. We're going to be talking about how you can code some of your other motors into mecanum drive and like where to do that, and just some of the stuff you can do in general with gamepads. So
Let's get into it.
yeah.
Okay, so we're on the computer and we're back to mecanum drive test, and we're gonna make some motors and servos move. So the first thing that this is going to assume is it's going to assume that you are daisy chained. So if you have not seen this video, it should be uploaded by the time you're watching this. So just go and do that now. It's probably a good idea. Let's just get that out of the way.
Daisy chaining is a hardware setup, by the way.
Yeah. So you can make like more motors once you're daisy chained. I'm gonna do like motor 1, and then but you can do basically whatever you want, and then you have to hardware map them. I don't feel like doing that though, so I'm gonna pretend they're hardware mapped.
No, just copy paste. Yeah, today's been a long day, guys.
So then it's like
1. So just change the configs we motor 1 to.
yeah,
And get rid of the port.
yeah. And then these are going to be named in config the same as they were if they weren't daisy chained. Just don't worry about that. And also, daisy chaining isn't really going to affect anything in the software, so if you're not yet, it's really not a big deal. And then if you come down, we want to basically make those motors move using the gamepad. So,
And you can see, if you scroll up just a little bit, you want to leave all that stuff up, scroll up even higher to like the while loop. Like everything that's in the while loop there, you can just code under it as if you were in the normal while loop, because that has to do with mecanum drive, and that's going to be all your code.
So you want to just leave all of that, and then you want to come down sort of like right above the telemetry stuff, there's like the status thing. Then you basically want to make an if statement, gamepad 1. So there's gamepad 1 and there's gamepad 2. This we already went over.
Yes.
You can use both gamepads when you're hardware mapping, but for like right here, we're just going to show gamepad 1, and then there's ways to use different different controls on the gamepad. So if you want to use one of the 4 buttons, one of these 4 buttons, you would just do gamepad 1.a would be the A button,
which is the bottom one.
Yeah, B would be B, and then there's X and Y. Then if you want to use, actually, you're not going to use the sticks because the sticks
sticks are
already in mecanum drive.
Yeah.
But if you want to use them, you can reference mecanum drive. You can see how to call them, and then
or you can just use like a gamepad too if you really need something for an analog stick.
And then there's this stick up here,
the D-pad.
The D-pad, and then it's just like D-pad down, or it's like D-pad left or D-pad up,
whichever direction you want on the D-pad.
And then there's also the triggers.
The triggers are floats, so we're not going to go over that now, but you can use the bumpers.
Okay, the bumpers?
Yeah.
So that's...
I believe it's right underscore bumper.
It's right bumper. Yeah. You can you can see it there. Right bumper, that'll return a Boolean whether it's down or not, and then left bumper.
So also, just a note as well, if it equals true, that means it is pressed currently. Yeah, so if you want to, in the if statement, I guess we can do right bumper. Yeah, we'll do right bumper.
Yeah, I'll do the right
bumper equals true.
And also, you probably know this if you know Java, but you don't really need to true. If you just want to know if it's down, you can just leave it like that, and it'll default to true. So then and then inside the if statement, it depends on what motor you want to move, but maybe the right bumper will be motor 1 dot set power 1. So basically, what'll happen is if you press down the right bumper while the robot's running, that motor will start turning, and then when you
Well, no, you also, another thing we want to talk about is that you need to have 0 functions on your robot. And this usually requires another if statement where you're going to need to declare if the right motor or right bumper is false or not being pressed.
Here, so
that something.
Right now, if I were to run this, I would press down the button and it would start running, but then when I would let go, it would stay running. So we have to make it so that you probably want to make it so that when you let go of the button, it stops. You could just do an else motor 1 dot set power 0, and that will tell the computer that when you're not pressing down on the right bumper, when it's returning a false value, the motor's going to stop.
So yeah.
So there you go.
Yes.
All right, guys. So now that we talked about how you can code, like using the mecanum drive class, we're going to talk about some effective mapping. And you say hi to Patrick. He just arrived. Anyways, so if we go to the controller, so as you can see, there's lots of buttons that you can use on the controller, and what you want to do is make it as easy as possible to use separate parts of the robot. Like as mecanum drive, they just use both joysticks because that's just easy to do. But another thing you can do is if you have, let's say, an arm that needs to extend and then grab, what you can do is you can have an extension button and then a grab button relatively in the same area, which allows, it's pretty logical if you think about it. Like we also had a conveyor belt that we had to move, so what we did is we made each way in the conveyor belt each bumper, and that was very easy to do. It was just like easy to use. Also, another thing that you can do is, let's say you just want somebody, your robot's like pretty complicated, there's a lot you need to do. What you can have is just have a gamepad 1 be the mecanum drive, right? So you'll have one person controlling the wheels, and then you can have a second gamepad where everybody else, or what they can do is just do all of the other buttons to control various aspects of a robot, whether it be like an arm, a launcher, or some other type of thing like that. So probably best to keep that in mind when you are trying to map out your teleop, and it's really up to your judgment, because I mean you're probably going to be the one driving the robot since you're the one coding it. But all right, guys, so that was some of how you can use teleoping and some gamepad logic. Next video we're going to be moving into autonomous and how you can do some basic autonomous and mimic mecanum drive in autonomous. So yeah, we'll see you guys next video.